People are now aware that all organisms in the world have the capacity to stop whatever the world is doing when they decided to feed on our body and infect our health. These organisms are so small that they are not visible in the eye, yet their impact are so disturbing that everyone in the world are so eager to find a cure. But what if I tell you that there are viruses that lives in this world that doesn't have any cure? That when a person got infected, the day they spend in this world is counted. With that said, here's the list of 10 most horrifying viruses with no cure so far. Number 10. Kyasanur forest virus. In 1955, the virus was discovered in Indian woodlands in the southwest coast. Ticks contract the infection, but scientists say it's difficult to tell which carriers are the virus's vector. Rats, birds, and wild boars are thought to be potential hosts. Infected individuals experience a high fever, severe headaches, and soreness, a large muscle which can lead to bleeding, and killed nearly 5% of those who had the misfortune to be infected by this virus. Number 9. Ebola virus. This virus have been in the news for the past years, and this started in 1976. The Ebola virus was first discovered near the Ebola River. Ever since, the virus has infected people daily, causing outbreaks in African countries. The virus spread in the country, causing the deaths of millions of African people. The Ebola virus comes in 5 various strains. The Ebola virus from Zaire strain is the deadliest, with a 90% mortality rate. It is the strain that is effectively spreading through African cities, and scientists believe that the Zaire Ebola virus was brought into cities by flying foxes. This causes hemorrhagic fever, and patient will experience a never-ending headache, body pain, gastrointestinal bleeding, and bloody diarrhea. Number 8. The Lassa fever. Lassa fever, the same as Ebola and Marburg, is a viral hemorrhagic disease that impairs organs and ruptures blood vessels. 1 in every 5 people infected with the Lassa virus develops severe liver, spleen, or kidney disease. The virus is spread through tainted everyday items by the urine or feces of mastomys rats, which are native to Africa. Healthcare professionals who comes in contact with a patient's blood or organ tissue could become infected as well. After recovering from a cholera infection, you may experience long-term hearing loss. Lassa fever consistently causes prolonged outbreaks in several West African countries, murdering 1 to 15% of those infected. Experts estimate between 100,000 and 300,000 Lassa fever enteric fever each year, with about 5,000 deaths. While this is true, the total tally is unknown due to its limited monitoring and scientific proof of infections in recently non-endemic regions. Number 7. Hantaviruses. The hantavirus also have different strain that happened because the virus mutated. During Korean War in 1950, it was decided to be the name after a river where American soldiers it was first suspected of being inoculated with the hantavirus. This virus causes respiratory distress and mimic the influenza-like disease. This killed almost 38% of the patient that got infected, and according to CDC, there is no known treatment, cure, or even vaccine for this virus. Most patients experience shortness of breathing, bleeding of mucosa, and muscle aches, and people will be infected if exposed to deer feces or mice urine. Number 6. Japanese encephalitis virus. This virus obviously originated in Japan, and the main biological vector of this virus is a mosquito. This virus caused death around 30% of people infected and putting over 3 billion people at risk for infection. Some patients develop serious neurologic or psychiatric complications but the main effect on the body of this virus are fever, neck rigidity, altered consciousness, headache, tremors, incoordination, and convulsions. There is currently no antibody therapy for affected individuals. Treatment is possible, but most survivors of this disease experience mental disability. Number 5. Rabies virus. Dog is a man's best friend, and everybody is aware of that. But what everybody is not aware, the disease that is accompanied by these dogs. Rabies is serious disease that everyone should take seriously. This has fatality of 100% if untreated, and this virus spread in the air that the people got exposed of this rabies virus is considered infected and needs immediate attention. Pain, tingling, or stinging, or paresthesia at the wound site are the first signs of a fever. As the virus spreads to the nervous system, potentially lethal inflammation of the brain and spinal cord occurs. Individuals with furious rabies may show signs of hyperactivity, overexcited behavior, hydrophobia, and aerophobia before dying from cardiorespiratory arrest within a few days. Number 4. Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. This disease primarily affects animals, particularly farm animals, and is typically transmitted via the bite of an infected tick. But people can become infected if they get in contact with previously butchered infected animals. There were some reports of human-to-human transmission through contact with infected person's bodily fluids. The virus causes mimic flu-like symptoms and occasionally slight sensitivity or stiffness of the neck, which can be confused for measles. But patients can later suffer complications, abnormal bleeding. The tick species that transmits Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever is endemic to many countries in Africa and Asia. Number 3. Machupo virus. Machupo virus hemorrhagic fever, also known as black typhus, is fatal. The infection causes a high fever and heavy bleeding. Sometimes this bleeding is the main reason for the death of 1,000 people that got infected because the doctors are having a hard time to locate which organ is bleeding, leading to low platelet counts, and worse is death. This virus can be spread via human-to-human contact and killed almost 45% of people that got infected by this virus. Number 2. Dengue fever. This virus is known worldwide and killed millions of life. This is a constant threat to CDC as it infects all ages and highly fatal. This virus have 4 strains and each strain causes the same symptoms, but when a person got infected twice or thrice, the fatality arises and causes more death than survivors. This virus causes high fever, vomiting, diarrhea, excessive bleeding, and unending headaches. Usually when a patient that is infected by dengue virus and left untreated, most of the time they die within the 72 hours of infection. Number 1. Marburg virus. The virus is named after a tiny and secluded town on the Lahn River, but this has nothing to do with the virus. The Marburg virus is a virus that causes hemorrhagic fever. It causes convulsions and bleeding of mucous membrane, skin, and organ bleeding. This virus has a fatality of 90%, and most of the infected person that got infected by this virus end their life within the 5-day incubation period that this virus have. Most cases are always severe and patients suffer from low platelet counts and inflammation of the organ. Up to now, there is no sign of cure and treatment to this virus. Who could have thought that a lot of this virus remain a threat in the world's population in this kind of day and technology? Maybe our scientist needs more time and research to find the cure of this disease. So what are your thoughts about this video? Please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos.